It is late in the Second Era, a time of war, as the empire of Tiber Septim sweeps through the kingdoms of Tamriel in a glorious bid for conquest. Septim is opposed on all sides, but never more fiercely than by Hammerfell, the ancestral home of the Redguards. The High King of Hammerfell, Thasard II, resists the imperial invasions even as he sees other kingdoms crumble, until at last, without warning and surprisingly devoid of court treachery, death takes its full measure. With its High King dead, Hammerfell is crippled, plunging into a bloody civil war between the crowns, fighting for their homeland's continued sovereignty, and the forebears, who have finally accepted the Emperor's rule. The crowns, led by the heir to Thasard, Prince Ator, are continually victorious, spilling the blood of the forebears across Hammerfell's sands. From his seat of power in the port city of Stros Makai, Prince Ator slowly reunites his father's unraveled kingdom. Feeling their impending defeat, the forebears sign a pact with the Emperor, allowing him to bring his armies in, crush the crowns, and rule Hammerfell as his own. Tiber Septim's armies prove too much for the proud Redguard crowns. Tiber Septim sends his best commander, Lord Richten, to Stros Makai to close the grip on Prince Ator and the crowns. The prince rallies his forces for one last stand. Knowing that Hammerfell's sovereignty is at stake, the crown forces match the might of the empire, meeting them in the harbor of Stros Makai for the final battle. The fighting is fierce. Lord Richten, having seen the prince's victories at sea before, decides to bring his last resource to the fore. The dragon, Nathalilagus, proud jewel of the imperial crown. Ator commands his archers to ready their weapons, but is struck down himself by Richten's assassin, felled by an arrow whose poison spreads too fast. Ator's wizard attempts to save the prince, but the dragon ends his magic and the crown's hope for victory in a single fiery breath. Having conquered the crowns, the Emperor's forces claim rule over all of Hammerfell. Imperial garrisons are stationed at every city, and Richten himself is named provisional governor of Stros Makai. Months pass. The Redguards of Hammerfell, both crown and forebear, learn to live under the new imperial rule, and Tiber Septim extends his reach into the rest of Tamriel. It is only through fate that any of this will come to concern our hero, Cyrus, a Redguard who long ago left Hammerfell to wander the borderlands of the Empire.
Krimje, Cyrus, eto forwakecher okodor.
Let's make this short, Sarathra. I've got work to do.
Balizihataratami. Sicho.
I leave with Duardine's men in an hour.
Renrigi intnor. Oko o imperial ja. Iko pofam rotot velk.
You should know you got me the job.
Tragir. Sratra kol kotero to Hammerfell. Boshe in rot.
The seal is broken.
Sratra warrega.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Nuko Duadin. Sratra X. Sratra X Kyle.
Izara.
Rolita dek kaudor.
I need a ship.
To board the koi Sratra Makovik Warabarashi.
Money, too.
Sri Duadin ja. Epako ja Srik. Pur Sratra kadoeliter beko.
We haven't spoken in 10 years. There was trouble.
Kakatar.
I killed her husband.
Hammerfell's prodigal son, Cyrus, returns to the province of his birth. He buys passage to the island of Stros Makai in the hopes of rescuing his sister, Izara.
below is what the pilot said to the wet-eared knaves before him.
The Restless League is claiming this cargo,
said the other with cruel clarity.
Probably wouldn't make a difference if I told you I had no time for this.
This is about Redguard honor, boy. Stand aside.
Yes, a doubtful notion it is. Piracy and politics. But there you have it.
Never been much for politics. In my day, piracy was honest work.
Don't be a hero, boy.
Where's the money in that?
And yea, verily, by his bravery they were impressed for a scant few seconds. We could use a swordsman like you.
Too slow.
Okay.
Come on.
No!
Cyrus!
Captain, good to see you back in command.
Please call me Brennan. You disposed of those ruffians so quickly, I had no time to retrieve my sword from my cabin.
That's so, hmm?
Look, over there. Let us move on before more show up.
I hope this letter finds your hands, friend. My latest travels have brought me to Stros Mackay, and no one here has seen your sister for 3 months. I fear the worst. I feel obligated to stay for a few weeks. I'll be at the Dragon Tail Inn should you return. Tobias.
Cyrus! And how do you do?
Brennan, can I have a minute?
Anything for your like, Cyrus.
I am looking for my sister Izar. Perhaps you have heard of her.
I'm afraid not. before the Empire cleaned things up, Stros Makai was a pirate haven, avoided by honest merchants like myself.
The pirates who attacked us spoke of a restless league. Have you heard of them?
Other captains tell me the remaining banditti have organized themselves against the Empire's crackdown on smuggling and piracy.
How has Stros Makai fared under its new imperial masters?
The locals are still chafing at the bit, but in time, they will come to appreciate the benefits of membership in the Empire.
That's so, I am meeting a friend at the Dragon Tail. Can you direct me?
I can't recommend it, but it's the only drink hall in this godforsaken town. Up the bridge, you see to the right, through the gate to the town square, you will see the sign.
The Empire has done well in its conquest of Hammerfell, you think?
Absolutely. No offense, but Hammerfell is in need of some law and order.
It seems the Empire has not eliminated all the pirates from Stros Makai.
Apparently so. They've become bold, attacking a ship so far into Hunding Bay. But give it time. The Empire has only been here a few months.
Thanks. We'll talk later.
Well,
Hello, my name is Cyrus.
and mine is Trithik, lad.
I'm looking for my sister Izara. Perhaps you've seen her?
I do not know the name, but so many have been lost since the dragon arrived.
She went missing about 3 months ago.
If she was with the Crowns, I would count her among the casualties. Richton's slaughter was elegant only in its thoroughness.
The ship that brought me here was beset upon by some rascals called the Restless League. What do you know about them?
They were the necessary cancer of a nation divided and at war, grown at the borders where the kingdom's skin is most contested by the foreign sword. Fearless men, whose names are all too often breathed in hate. Don't believe them too wrong, for even the prince had their ear.
It seems quiet here, especially for a port city. How fares Stros Makai under Imperial rule?
Defeat is read in every native face, my boy. The war cost the city much, including its voice. The Crowns are no more, as kingless as Yokuda, lost now to song which no one will sing, lest Richton hear. Overmuch. The governor is the reason Stros Makai is so quiet.
I have not heard mention of Yokuda since my childhood.
The first land where the Redguards came from in blessed Hunding's day.
I saw the statue of Hunding on my way into port. I'm surprised Richton hasn't leveled it yet.
He cannot or will not, for it keeps the goblins out of Stros Makai, out and under it. Such is Randar Hunding's grace that he blinds them still.
There are goblins under Stros Makai?
And worse, but you needn't worry about them. They are doomed to the dirt and bother the Redguard no more.
What did the Imperials do to the prince?
Ator was slain at sea, and there his body was lost, thankfully. Already the obligatory prophecy of his return has begun, spoken in hush, an ill surrogate for true hope this season. The Redguard should know better, be blind to desperate omen. Thasad's son has left us, wind swift and sadly, never to return.
So Ator had dealings with the Restless League then?
Never openly, for then even the Crown thought the League untrustworthy. Now they are Hammerfell's last. Ator's death sent them into hiding, and Dragonfire keeps them there.
How can you be thankful that Prince Ador's body was lost at sea?
Insofar that the seabed may claim him before the necromancer does, that is all. That his soul may rest easy from the snare surround.
Tell me about the necromancer.
A westward evil, a seat in the ash-gray shoals, on parade now that the Empire's here, lad. So don't die.
What is the snare surround?
The necromancer's curse, rising in the near here, only a death away. Its magic snatches at your soul, should you perish, to fuel some darker deed still.
How far west are the shoals?
Not a day's journey. Just follow the path over the, bridge.
Should I fear death more than normal then?
The snare waits for those who don't.
This dragon, an imperial metaphor perhaps?
Banner and bone, young Redguard. Seek the old quarter if you want to see the handiwork of both.
I fear that my sister's disappearance had something to do with the Civil War.
I read more than fear in your face, Redguard. Either retribution or redemption. Alas, sometimes they are the same. Neither can come without wounds.
I said nothing about redemption or...
Why else would you be here, in this narrative? In you...
How can the two be the same?
In their concern for blood. In blood as closure. I assure you, it will be spilt before you find your sister. A prayer may do you well.
Where should I pray?
At the Temple of Blessed Arcade. Brother Niddle presides there, and he knew most of the people in town. He may know something about your sister.
Where is the temple?
In the town square, shoreside from the pool.
Perhaps I should speak to this Richten then.
Spoken true, my boy. But I'd advise against it. The Imperials suffer no Redguards in the palace, unless you're forebear, and you walk on too few legs to be that.
What do the Imperials plan to do here?
Confusion often follows conquering. But if Septum does have a plan for Hammerfell, it hasn't been made clear. I suspect a greater plan than constant terror. For Richten has men all about the island, not just here in Stros Makai.
So I can't get into the palace then?
Not unless you can produce something that Richten will desire.
Has Tiber Septim made the crown suffer much for their resistance?
Through his agents, yes. But I fear that the provisional governor is an especially wicked feast to swallow. The blood has slowed to a trickle, if only for lack of targets, and the crowns who survive still remain silent.
Can a Redguard not even admit his allegiance to the crowns openly?
I can't speak for the rest of Hammerfell, but such an admission here is martyrdom at best. A persecution of silence reigns in Stros Makai.
Tell me of the forebears.
Throne defilers all, hosts to the invader, and Hunding's shame.
What happened to the old court?
It was the last stand of the loyalist crowns, and Governor Richten had it destroyed. It smolders still, all ash and dragonfire. Few escape the incident.
Thanks, Trip. I've got to go.
Hey, sailor.
May I trouble you for a moment, my lady?
Lady, you say? You must be new in town. Besides, the owner would have remembered you.
Cyrus, at your service. Do you know a young lady named Bizarra? My sister, last seen over 3 months ago.
Zara, yes. I see the family resemblance. Can't say I know her, though. She was all caught up in them troubles we had when the young prince was killed.
What is news around Stros Makai these days?
That it's best to keep your mouth shut or end up in the catacombs. Or worse.
Have you heard anything about a group called the Restless League?
They claim to fight the Empire, but they seem more interested in plunder from what I can tell. They make a point to target forebears, though, so I guess they aren't all bad.
A friend is meeting me at the Dragon Tail. Do you know him?
Sure, Sienna knows it all right. Used to be a favorite of mine till that damn lizard barkeep got all high and mighty on me. Does this friend have a name?
Tobias. Do you know him?
Did Hunding hate goblins? Of course I know him. One of my best customers, and I'm no lie. Any friend of Tobias is a friend of Sienna. I'll be happy to help you out any way I can.
Maybe you can help me. Tell me more about the recent troubles in Stros Makai.
You know, the civil war between the Crowns and the Forebears. You really aren't from around here, are you?
Tell me more about the Crowns.
They supported Prince Ator after his father died. True Redguard patriots. More's the pity.
What of these forebears? Who are they?
Forebears? Pah! And they call me a whore. Sold out the prince and left us with the streets full of fine soldiers and not an honest ring to any heel.
Was my sister involved in the Civil War in some way?
Well, I don't want to spread gossip, especially not to her brother. But they say she was friends with the prince. Good friends, you know. So it's no wonder she disappeared when Fat Boy came to town.
Fat Boy?
I'm sorry. I mean His Imperial Highness Provisional Governor Lord Ripton.
Maybe you can help me. Tell me more about the recent troubles in Stros Makai.
You know, the civil war between the Crowns and...
The prince. What happened to him?
Ator was murdered by the Imperials, that's what. Nice young man, too. Not too proud to tip his hat to Sione either. Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
This lizard Barkeep. An Argonian?
Don't know his politics, but that Dreekius is a damn nuisance to us working girls. Pretentious of grandeur he has. Nobody before bears in there now anyway. And I wouldn't catch their gut for any cotter coin.
You don't care for Dreekius, then?
Well, he's not a bad sort for a lizard. Him and me just don't see eye to eye on the friendship of the thighs, so to speak. But he knows anyone who's anyone on this island. No mistake.
Tell me about this Richten.
He's a bad one, he is. Siona can tell. Invited me up to the palace once, but I won't be back. Maybe Siona's not a fine lady, but she's an honest working girl and doesn't like being treated like dirt. And she definitely doesn't like being watched by that sneaking, prick-eared shadow.
These catacombs. Some kind of a dungeon?
That's where Fat Boy tosses any crowns he can catch. Under the palace, where the dragon lives.
A dragon lives in these catacombs?
That's how Fat Boy beat the grounds. The Imperials, at least, think the dragon's still down there, laying about on the Royal Sea of Coin.
Who is this shadow you speak of?
Fat Boy's pet assassin, Ram. A ghoul from furthest Morrowind, they say. Those red eyes of his watching me. No, Siona won't be back to the palace. Not for all the coin in Hammerfell.
Where is the governor's palace?
The poor dead prince's palace, you mean. Just keep climbing up the hill. You can't miss it. But don't expect to sneak your way in.
We'll talk later. Be careful. One moment.
Go about your business, Redguard.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Well?
Cyrus, sweetheart.
locked.
Cyrus, sweetheart.
Ahoy there, sailor. Can I have a word with you? Greetings, stranger. Just the man I'm looking for. Greetings, stranger.
What can I do for you, friend?
The question is, what can I do for you? The young stranger in town, fearless, footloose, and fancy-free, a little light of purse, perhaps? I have a proposition that may appeal, but first allow me to introduce myself. Katero, contractor of Stros Mackay, at your service.
Cyrus. Charmed. I haven't been in Hammerfell since before the war. How do you like being a citizen of the Empire?
Sure beats war, my young friend. I won't lie to you, though. Hard to find honest labor these days. Forebears would rather smirk than lift, and the crowns don't have the back for it anymore.
Sounds like the crowns are taking their defeat pretty hard.
Yeah, I've always stayed out of politics. Bad for business. Crown, forebear, I don't care. As long as their coin is true. My philosophy is, what's done is done. Live and let live. The grass is always greener, you know.
I guess the forebears are still savoring victory in the Civil War, eh?
Yeah, you could say that, although you might not want to say it in their faces. They're a touchy lot these days.
I've been up north for years, but I was pretty sure the forebears won the war.
Of course they did. And the forebears like to bust up the dragon tail just in case anyone doubts it. Some ungenerous crowns like to point out the imperial flags flying all over the palace and the imperial soldiers patrolling the streets. None of my concern, though. Haha, you know what I mean?
I wonder if you know my sister, Izara. I've come to Stros Mackay to find out what's happened to her.
I'm afraid I don't know her. I'm just a simple working man. You might try Dreekius up at the Dragon Tail. Pretty much everyone in Stros Mackay passes through his door eventually.
What do you know about a group of ruffians calling themselves the Restless League?
Damn them and their bloody-minded ways. They've done more to ruin Stros Mackay than the Forebears and Empire combined. Yeah, if it weren't for them, this city would have been at peace months ago.
I'm supposed to meet a friend at the Dragon Tail. Can you direct me?
It's the only watering hole in town. Follow the ramps uphill to the town square. Bit of friendly advice? Watch your step. The Forebears are a touchy lot these days.
You call yourself a contractor. What does that mean?
Over here we have someone who needs something done. Over there we have someone who's looking for work. How do they find each other? That's where I come in.
How is the Restless League responsible for ruining Stros Mackay?
Burning or plundering half the cargoes headed for this port, stirring up the Imperials to ever more ruthless repression. The League doesn't seem to realize that the war is over, and they lost.
You're saying the League was allied with the Crowns?
That depends on who you ask. I don't know. I'm not one of your political gentlemen, always in someone else's business. I'm just a poor working stiff. A bird in the hand is better, you know what they say.
Dreekius?
A friendly local lizard. Not that I have anything against him. Or her. Or whatever. Can't ever tell with those Argonians. Runs the Dragon Tail, the tavern on the town square.
Tell me about this job you have for me.
A simple task. Pick up an amulet from the Gasta and deliver it to the governor's palace. Now, to be honest, I've been having trouble finding someone to take the job. but I'm sure a robust lad such as yourself pays no attention to silly local superstitions. Are you interested?
Sure. I'll take the job.
Splendid. Here's your 100 gold. I'll have the rest for you after you deliver the amulet to the governor. Well, I'm sure you won't have any trouble, but, you probably want to do this during the daylight.
Refresh my memory about this job you hired me for.
A simple task. Pick up an amulet from the Gasta and deliver it to the governor's palace.
Nagasta?
A harmless old hermit. The more superstitious of my fellow citizens repeat silly rumors about him, but I put no stock in their tales. He lives in the old wizard's tower. Just follow the shoals on the northwest side of the island.
Any idea what's so important about this amulet?
That's between the Gasta and the governor. I just get paid to find a delivery man.
How much are you offering for this job?
Like I said, I've been having trouble hiring for this job, so I'm upping the rate a bit. 100 up front and 200 more after completion.
That's pretty high for a simple delivery. What's the catch?
The pay's proportional to the danger. Nagasta's tower isn't exactly on the main road, you know? So you may have a little trouble getting there. Nothing that you can't handle, I'm sure.
Where can I find the governor's palace?
Straight at the top of the hill. You can't miss it. The grandest structure in Stros Mackay, maybe in all of Hammerfell. Quite the tourist attraction before the late unpleasantness.
What superstitions do the locals harbor about this Nagasta?
Oh, you know, they call him a necromancer, prattle about him stealing people's souls, armies of undead, you know, that sort of thing. Nothing a well-armed fellow like yourself would worry about.
We'll talk later.
Cyrus, sweetheart.
We'll talk later. Be careful. It's locked. One moment.
Sorry, man. Imperials everywhere. I don't talk with strangers.
Hello, sir. Sir, could I speak to you for a moment?
Who's there? What do you want?
My name is Cyrus. I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
Mind? Why would I mind? I'm Purnell, by the way. Ask away, my boy.
Do you know my sister? Izara.
Izara? And you're Cyrus, her brother? Of course. Probably look just like her, too. Who had seen the family resemblance? But without my eyepiece, I'm afraid I can't get too good a look at you. You know, I haven't seen Izara around in quite some time.
So you can't see without your eyepiece?
I can see the galleons and space traders just fine with this spyglass. But other than that, I mean, I can't very well walk around town holding a telescope up to my eye.
It might be kind of funny, though.
I'm laughing even as we speak. Could you maybe find it for me, lad? It's a strange kind of loneliness when the beginnings of your vision's at 100 yards.
I'll find it for you, Purnell. Don't worry. Don't worry. Have you heard of a group called the Restless League? My ship was attacked by a couple of them on the way here.
That was you? I saw the whole thing through my telescope, you know. Not much of a battle, though. Ha! You really gave those ruffians what for? Wait a minute. Maybe the Restless League is after you, too. I wonder what Izara could have done to get them so riled up.
Two? Do you mean the Restless League is after my sister? Why didn't you say so before?
You never said she was missing, Cyrus. This was months ago anyway, and my memory ain't what it used to be. As I was saying, a couple of them boys came around asking about her, but not respectful like you. Gave me the hairy eyeball, trying to scare an old man. Don't believe anyone has the right to talk to me like that. No wonder they have such a bad reputation.
What did these Restless League fellows want to know?
Just if I'd seen Izara, let them know if I ever did. Ha! Like I'd tell them anything after they come in here all threatening-like. Seem to think she'd stolen something from them. If that's true, no wonder she's disappeared. Either they found her, or she's making sure they don't.
I thought the Restless League was outlawed. How would you contact them?
You'll find out soon enough. The smuggler's den is hooked up with the League somehow. Not directly, or it'd be out of business by now with Fat Boy on a rampage, but I'm sure they could still get in touch with the League.
Where is the smuggler's den?
Under Maiko's shop, but it ain't that simple. No one gets in without a password.
Do you know the password?
Afraid not, Cyrus.
What kind of reputation does the League have?
Terrorists, pirates, all that. No doubt about it. They ain't to be trifled with. Fat Boy found that out himself. But then the Empire don't like to be messed with either.
The League is fighting against the Imperial occupation?
They were. Not openly like the Crowns, but that's never been the League's way. Blowing up Richton's flagship more in their line. Watched it burn from right here. An amazing sight. But what did it accomplish? The Empire's still here, and I haven't heard hide nor hair of the League until today.
What are you watching for up there?
Ships, Sonny. I'll let the town know when a merchant ship is coming into port. Reminds me of my seafaring days a bit, watching out from the crow's nest. But now I'm stuck with this job.
How come?
'Cause ships are about the only thing I can see. I lost my eyepiece around here somewhere, and the spyglass here's no right alternative.
How does the city fare with the Imperials in charge?
I got nothing to tell that you can't hear from anyone in town. This was the heart of Crown resistance, but look at it now. When you lock up or murder every Crown or League supporter, you don't leave much.
Thanks, Purnell. What's this? Excellent.
Cyrus, sweetheart.
It's locked.
Cyrus, sweetheart.
It's locked. It's locked. Looks like it's locked from the inside. It's locked. It's locked. It's locked.
Yes?
Greetings, my lady. I am Cyrus.
A sentinel accent, isn't it? I am Chrysandra, silversmith of Stros Mackay. Pleased to meet you.
Are you from Sentinel originally?
Yes, I owned a shop there for 6 years, on Market Street. Perhaps you know it? Sentinel is overcrowded these days, and when I heard of a business for sale here, I decided to take the chance. So far, I haven't had too much trouble from the locals.
Why would the local people give you trouble?
Forebears aren't exactly popular around here, you know. I've never been much involved in politics, but I always supported the Forebear cause. Before the war, all that didn't matter. I had many friends who were crowns, but things are different now.
You're new here, then.
Arrived only 2 months ago. I'm still trying to get things sorted out. The former owner must not have cleaned this place for 20 years. There was so much junk piled up. I tossed most of it in my warehouse next door just to get it out of the way.
The old silversmith. He left because of the war?
He died, actually. I bought the shop from his estate. I guess there was some kind of incident in the old quarter where the most fanatical crowns lived.
I'm looking for my sister, Izara. Do you know her?
I'm afraid not. I have few friends here as yet. I'm hoping that as time passes, things will get back to normal, but the war is still too fresh for people here to forget that I'm a forebear.
How has Stros Mackay fared under Imperial occupation?
It's suffered greatly. The incident in the old quarter seems to have left the city in shock. The crowns lost the war, after all. You can't expect them to get over that in a few months.
What can you tell me about the Restless League?
I know I sound just like every other forebear, but they were nothing more than pirates, using the Civil War as cover for their crimes. They were a black mark on the Crown's cause from the beginning. The destruction of the League is one of the few good things to come from the Empire's victory.
So the League has been wiped out.
As far as I can tell, they haven't been seen in Stros Mackay in weeks. Their last hurrah was blowing up the governor's flagship, a pointless gesture which only spurred Rexton to finish cleaning out their organization from the city.
What do you know of the new provisional governor Rickton?
Ruthless to a fault. Served him well during the war, but not a trait guaranteed to win loyalty in a new province. I wonder how much Tiber Septim knows of what Rickton is up to here in Hammerfell.
Tiber Septim, the colossus of our generation, Tamriel's new self-proclaimed emperor. What's your take?
The Empire's expansion has proceeded according to the merits of the Emperor's servants. By all accounts, Septim's governor in High Rock has ended the feuding of the Witch Kings there with tact and skill. The Emperor's representative here, in Stros Mackay, is not of the same caliber, and the Emperor is viewed dimly as a result.
You call it the Empire's victory. What of the forebears?
Please, I'm not one of the forebear fanatics. Anyone can see that Baron Volag was used, then cast aside by the Empire. He hoped to be king of Hammerfell, but who has seen him since his supposed victory?
You disagree with Baron Volag's decision to ally the forebears with the Empire?
A gamble that he lost. As a forebear, I supported Volag's claim to the throne of Hammerfell. I never supposed he was infallible. But the war's over now, and the only thing to do is make the best of the new situation. A philosophy more crowns should embrace, if you ask me.
I've been told of a smuggler's den under the cartographer's shop. Have you heard of it?
Sure I have. Smuggler's Den. Ha! A pretty grandiose name for a place where the local boys go to get away from their wives and play cards.
So do you think it's nothing more sinister than that?
Well, I've heard rumors it was connected with the Restless League, but they're hard to take seriously if a joker like Lakeen could get in.
I admire your courage, a forebear in the crown capital.
When I first arrived, the Restless League made a few threats, but the Empire seems to have them under control now. Forebear and crown, that's all in the past anyway. Hammerfell is part of the Empire now. At least we finally can stop killing each other.
Lakeen, who's he?
The local handyman? Not a bad sort, don't get me wrong, but a bit lunatic fringe. Hardly what I'd call the foundation of a revolution.
What does Lakeen have to do with the smuggler's den?
Oh, I really shouldn't gossip, but I'm sure you won't tell anyone, will you, Cyrus? Seems he was gambling at the smuggler's den and lost his wife's antique silver locket. He came to me, desperate to have it replaced, so she wouldn't find out. I'd have been glad to help, but I couldn't reproduce it simply from his description. Poor fellow, he went away quite crushed.
Do you know what happened?
It was before I arrived. The people here tell some pretty fantastic stories. As near as I can figure, the Crowns burned their houses down around their heads rather than surrender after the Imperials took the city. Some would call that admirable, but I think the Redguards put too much stock in zealotry.
I haven't been back to Sentinel since before the war. How did it fare?
Better than Stros Mackay. Before I came here, I thought the stories I'd heard were just Crown propaganda. The Crowns recaptured Sentinel just before the Empire intervened, but it was nothing like this. Stros Mackay was the center of Crown resistance, and I suppose the Empire is making an example of the city.
Excuse me. Perhaps we can speak later. Cassandra, hello.
Cyrus, what do you need?
Excuse me. Perhaps we can speak later.
Well?